G Twitch Easily says, "Yo, what do you think YNW Melly's last meal is gonna be?" Now, guys, as we're gonna get back to this, this is gonna I'm gonna let this play for about 5 minutes or so. What we're gonna see is the supposedly damning text, and I guess that's how the state's trying to go on its, presenting this case by saying Melly confessed. Melly's gonna say something later, which he's gonna say, "I did that." And they're gonna say that's the confession. That's why they're showing all these texts at the moment. Keep in mind, this is a death penalty case. Melly does not beat this case, given the fact that it already seems psychopathic. It seems very gruesome, cold-blooded. Doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason why somebody would kill their two best friends. Also, when it comes to sentencing, and you're gonna hear that father who wanted to come on here, if Melly, again, I'm not wishing it goes either way, but if Melly gets found guilty, imagine the parents of the people who died then testifying to the jury to say, "Yo, y'all gotta give this guy death. Yo, he helped dress the people he killed." Allegedly, according to the father, Melly dressed the guy for his funeral. That if I'm a jury member, that's sick. If you killed a nigga and you acted like you ain't kill him because that's your friend and you dressed him for his funeral, I'm giving you death. That's what I would do. And again, I'm saying this subjectively, but you have to think about what you would do. By the way, we don't know if he's guilty or innocent. But if he's found guilty, the sentencing portion is going to be a whole different situation, because when you hear people start giving their fucking testimony about what the fuck, you know what I mean? It's going to be crazy, okay? Anyway, let me keep playing this a little bit, all right? Imagine killing a nigga and then picking out the outfit he wears at the funeral. And by the way, give me a second on that. I'm gonna do some research on that, because I do know the jury votes. They vote death penalty as well when they give the guilty verdict. So they vote death penalty, but I don't think they actually issue the sentence. They just vote if it's eligible for the death penalty. I want to make sure about that. The judge still has to take that up, and they still go through a sentencing procedure where people, usually the family, usually friends, usually people write letters that will be taken into consideration, and the judge makes that determination, okay? But the only thing that, but they usually lean to the death penalty if the jurors say it's on the table, all right? Anyway, let's keep going.
Going to the next message, the response, and who is that from?
It is from the account of YNW Melly, and it is to J.KingRN.
Okay, and what is the content of that message?
I'm good, Ma.
Continuing down, the next message in that thread, October 26, 2018, 11:26:31 UTC. Who is the author?
The author is J.KingRN.
And what is the text of the message?
I love you.
And who is it sent to?
YNW Melly.
Continuing on page 75,936 for Defense Counsel. And at the top of the page, the message of October 26, 2018, 11:26:38 UTC.
The message is, love you too.
And who is that from?
YNW Melly to J.KingRN.
So the response message, October 26, 2018, 11:26:58 UTC. What does the message say?
I need to find a hospital near you.
And who is that going to?
J.KingRN is the author, and the recipient is YNW Melly.
Okay. The response from YNW Melly, 10/26/2018, 11:35:59 UTC.
The message is, I don't want to go.
So Detective Marty, I want to take a break from the Instagram for a second. We'll come back to that one. During the course of the investigation, did you author a number of search warrants?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately how many search warrants do you think you authored?
Well over 40, ma'am.
Okay. Did those include search warrants for the Instagram social media of Cortland Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately how many of those were done for Cortland Henry?
We did one for Cortland Henry's Instagram account, one for his Gmail account, and one for a phone number associated with him.
Were there any indications in those social media accounts or anything else that he was using the YNW Melly account?
No, ma'am, none whatsoever.
Were there any indications that Mr. Henry or anyone else was saying contact or talking about any indications of using the 9807 phone number?
No, ma'am.
We talked briefly about some of the financials when we were on the stand a couple of days ago. During the course of this investigation, did you author subpoenas to get all of those financial records?
Yes, ma'am.
In the total amount of money and the time frame, if you could explain how much money was coming into these accounts?
The total coming in, and I done the subpoena started from right around March to for the Sun Trust, which is Truist now. So it'll be March, April, May.
Do we have the account number, name? Thank you.
So Detective Marty, in terms of you're talking about the Sun Trust account.
Yes, the Sun Trust account was in the name. I don't know the last four of the account number, but the account was in the name of Jameson Francois.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Jameson Francois.
And in terms of the business account for Jameson Francois, were some of the beneficiary or payouts of that to Jamel Devins?
Yes, ma'am.
The total amount of money that went in to the Sun Trust account as well as the Chase account,
Yes, ma'am.
about how much money went in?
Total amount for those two accounts for a 30-month period was about $16 million.
How much?
16 million.
16?
16.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know, pocket watcher actors on the case. I might miss something. They said 16 million went in. Well, hold on. Let me just listen to this again. We gotta listen. We gotta make sure. So, you know, I'm up in everybody's pockets. Fuck that.
Number, name. Thank you.
So Detective Marty, in terms of you're talking about the Sun Trust account.
Yes, the Sun Trust account was in the name. I don't know the last four of the account number, but the account was in the name of Jameson Francois.
Okay.
That's a 100K track.
I'm sure finna say, who the
Now,
fuck is
here's the
James
thing, I gotta make it
Francois?
very clear.
French one.
100K track.
Francois.
I will openly state. He's a friend of mine. Those teeth, the fronts, and I got these diamond teeth. He custom made that for me. He paid $25,000 for it. It's my guy. I interviewed him. He has a label. You know, he knows he can get on my podcast at any time. But if you're wondering where or how he fits in the music industry, he's most notable for managing King Von. He got shot at the same time King Von got killed, and he managed YNW Melly. He managed a bunch of other artists too, but those are the two big ones. So when we hear whatever money that's in this account, which I love to pocket watch, he's managing King Von and he's managing Melly. You get what I mean? This is the manager.
I'm sorry.
Jameson Francois.
And in terms of the business account for Jameson Francois.
By the way, I keep telling y'all keep trying to be the rappers. Be a manager. Catch two of these niggas who kind of hot, and you could have like 5 other niggas you manage and get a little team. The artists over here flexing and doing all that shit. You really collecting the bread.
Francois. Were some of the beneficiary or payouts of that to Jamel Devins?
Yes, ma'am.
The total amount of money that went in to the Sun Trust account as well as the Chase account.
Yes, ma'am.
About how much money went in?
Total amount for those two accounts for a 30-month period was about
30 months. So 30 months, let me do it. So that's 2 years. Let's see how much.
$16 million.
How much?
16 million. Holy.
16 million.
16?
16.
Thank you.
Okay. Detective Murray,
Now, here's the thing too. Let's not also mix up King Von money in there. This looked like it was a payout account. So let me tell you, I'm giving you a little bit of business of how sometimes music managers work. I learned this from Wayno. Salute to Wayno. What managers and even booking agents at times hate to do is to have the artist get paid directly, and then you have to run behind the artist who's, as soon as they see something in their account, they're blowing it. You have to run behind them to get money. So usually in most management contracts, they'll say, anything payable to the artist I manage, you pay to me, and I'll pay to them minus my cut. Does that make sense? Right? So for example, say Melly, we're going to take Vaughn out of it because you would have a different account for whatever. Or it could be the same account, but you'd have to have an extreme, really good accountant if it's multiple artists, right? Say 60 million came into the account. That was for Melly. He would take his cut, which, like, let's do a calculator real quick. You know what I mean? Pocket watching that. Ain't nobody better than pocket watching that now. All right, here we go. Let's see. Bingo. Wait, what the fuck? Cool. So 16 million right here. Managers usually get about 20%, right? Times 0.2. So he would have gotten about $3.2 million, right? That's the manager from Melly, right? Now, how much does Melly get? So he would send the rest of the money. So again, a lot of times managers, or especially he had this group, 100K management company, say 60 million was paid from the record label. That comes into the manager's shit. They take out their 3.2 and then they send
I
the
ain't
rest
trying
to
to
Melly.
give my manager
So
that much
16
control over my money.
60 million
It's kind
minus
of crazy.
3.2 means Melly would have got 12.8, but it's more complicated than that. Usually there's at least about 5%, the 5 or 10 more percent that you have to allocate via a entertainment lawyer and also a business manager. So usually people only go away with about 70% of the money, and that's pretty decent, the standard thing. So if it was $60 million, $60 million times, let's say 0.7 of that would be, so out of the 60 million, Melly probably got 11.2. Now we don't know what the 30-month period is, right? Because all these subpoenas have been old. By the way, keep in mind, Melly's publishing and a lot of royalties come later on. So if you ask me, Melly has maybe made $40 to $50 million, but at the time when they ran this report, he made 16. The manager's gonna get paid some. You're gonna give some to your entertainment lawyer for negotiating these deals. You're gonna also give it to your business manager. So at least at that time, Melly was probably entitled to get about $12 million or $11 million. Here I'm gonna tell you how this is very important. Because of this payout, and now knowing how much that Melly probably inherited from his musical career, this puts.
So why the fuck would he want to kill them about some money if he made 11 million already? It's just stupid.
Seized in an interesting position. Now you know. Usually they fight over this amount, right? People act like they broke in court all the time. Like, shit, I'll tell y'all niggas I got money on. If I get in court, I broke now. You know what I mean? It's like Bow Wow. He's like, I don't get no money. Now that, because you know the investigator fucking, I don't even know how the bank gave it something like so fucking willingly, but I guess they tied it into the crime somehow that they got a subpoena to figure it out. This is what's gonna happen. Melly, this amount of money right here, Melly's victims, allegedly, if he gets found guilty, they're gonna sue to try to recover. We need that $11 million. You killed our sons. We need that 11 million, brother. Give us that 11 million. We need that 11 million now. And then they're gonna push further to say Melly has probably made 3 times the amount of this since he's been locked up. Because what they say, dead rappers get better promotion, and when people locked up, people stream more. That's how it goes. So this amount of money at that time is probably compounded. The victims' families, they're 100% going to sue and use this information. And let's get back to it.
In terms of the swabs that were put into evidence previously from the Jeep, do you know on what date the swab of the interior passenger door for the rear driver's side, do you know what date that was collected on?
10/26/2018.
So you discussed briefly as well about looking at the car on October 26th of 2018, about there being...
By the way, to further crystallize it, just to kind of like give you a little hint, it's the same thing with 6ix9ine in that RICO case, right? So, like, you're gonna notice 6ix9ine's giving out $500,000 in bags to bitches, but he's gonna go in court and say he's not making no money. You gotta play the game, right? You know what the game is? Yo, when you did all that, you know what I mean, Treyway shit, people got shot, people got injured, they're owed what would be compensation for all of the pain and hurt that you have caused, right? And the judge has to then assess how much money do you have or how much money you've made off of this, directly benefiting from it, that they could try to give those people money. Who's trying to pay up money? It's like Tasha K with Cardi B. So you know what 6ix9ine does? Well, I don't got no money. I'm not really getting no shows. You get what I mean? It's I don't want to get too deep into it, but artists start doing a little interesting things just to show the court I don't make no money. All of a sudden, you know, 6ix9ine is telling the court, "Hey, I got kids to feed. To be honest, my career is done." Like 6ix9ine said that in paperwork. He said that to the judge. My career is done because they say I'm a snitch. I can't make no more money. You think 6ix9ine not making no money? He just gave Annuel's baby mama like $1 million. You get what I mean? Like, but you gotta hide it from the court. That's just how it goes. You get what I mean? I would never do such a thing like that, but these guys, you know.
Damage to the car. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
You would, and I'd ask you the next question as to, do you recall if there was a discussion as to how the car had been damaged previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had the opportunity to review the statement since that you took at Portland Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you now recall where that damage to the front hood supposedly occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was that?
In Atlanta, Georgia.
In terms of the statements or anything about the damage to the tires or the rims, did you ask the defendant, Mr. Henry, about that, those tires or rim damage in that statement? And if you don't recall...
Yeah, I don't recall this time.
So I'm going to, with looking at a copy of that statement, refresh your record.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So looking in for defense counsel, page 6 of 13 of the transcript statement. And it's going to be this thing to read that silently to yourself. Detective Murray, did Mr. Henry describe some sort of incident in which the Jeep ran into a median?
Yes, ma'am. According to his statement, that when the alleged drive-by occurred, he swerved and hit the median.
Okay. And did you notice any damage or anything consistent with that on that Jeep?
No, ma'am.
So you mentioned you had done on a Facebook account on that. And so I'm now going to be showing what's been previously shown to defense counsel and marked as states in tuple R. At this point, the state would offer states in tuple R for pursuant to 90.803 sub 6 as a business record.
Any objection?
Objections on grounds previously raised.
So it'll be minutes.
So Detective Ready, we discussed the Facebook account on that.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go forward a little bit.
Was there a cell phone number that was associated with the Jamel Demons Facebook account?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that?
772-713-9807.
How the fuck this nigga remember that number?
Okay. Publishing page 1. Detective Moretti, could you explain the line where it says date range?
The date range is where when we author the warrants, that's the date range to where we're requesting that the provider, which is Facebook, all of the data they have during that time frame.
Okay. And so what is the time frame that was covered under this particular search warrant?
10/1/2018 to 1/18/2019.
Okay. And what was the name of the account?
Jamel.Demons.
Demons, rhymes with...
Demons, my apologies.
Okay. In terms of the email addresses that are on there, on that account, are those some of the email addresses that we've talked about previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the registration date, September 19th, 2010, what is that?
That's the date that the account was created with Facebook.
So now what
the
they
next thing
proving that this is
part of page
Facebook
1
page or
is
some
listed as
goofy
mobile
shit?
devices. What are the mobile devices are a portion of the Facebook returns?
That's all the mobile devices that are connecting to the account.
And does this go back until the creation date?
It goes back to the date to where we authored the warrant.
That nigga Melly and law.
So in terms of some of this
1,500
information
different phones on his
go from
Facebook.
the beginning of the account itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the phone number you mentioned on there, and this is now on page 4. What phone number was verified on this account?
772-713-9807.
And going to the PayPal account, what was the email for the PayPal account that was associated with this Facebook account?
MellyMontana@iCloud.com.
And if you recall, what was the name of the Snapchat account that was previously introduced into evidence as state 7?
Melly Montana.
In terms of the IP law,
They're essentially kind of pretty much saying it's no way these accounts that utilize the same phone have all Melly's information. We seen all Melly's pictures. They're talking as Melly. It's Melly. It's no way these phones do not belong to Melly. That's essentially what they're doing with all these technical shit. They're using Facebook records, Snapchat records. They're using records from all over the place that if you type something on your Instagram right now, what it does is captures a version of what device it came from and it has like certain type of unique IDs that it could kind of distinguish. It captures an IP address, right? The first thing might be probably what was called networking, like a MAC address, right? But it captures these really unique identifiers. But now she's even going above and beyond to show it's Melly's thing to say, well, let's say, all right, it was that phone, but it's not Melly's phone. It was in somebody else's hand. They're showing Melly's PayPal is attached to it. Melly's PayPal is also seen in the Snapchat shit, they're basically trying to say, bro, are y'all serious? And keep in mind, Melly's lawyers, their job is to say, but how do you know? How do you know without a shadow of a doubt? You have to think like a juror. My nigga, if they showed you 98%, unless you like Melly, you're not going to be like, maybe it's that 2% possibility it's not Melly's. Maybe somehow his PayPal account just got in there. He got also on the Facebook.
I ain't gonna lie, it's not looking too good for this man.
Or like paying for shit on Facebook. And then maybe also like the phones that they're talking about also. Like no juror is doing that unless you like Melly. You're saying, nigga, that sounds kind of like the nigga did it. Let's be honest.
Logins. Did you do any additional research on these particular IPs?
No, ma'am.
During the course of the investigation, did you have the opportunity to review all of the messages and content on Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there ever any indication somebody else was using that account?
No, ma'am.
In terms of the location, Pembroke Road and US 27 on the south side of the street, what jurisdiction is that in?
City of Miramar.
What county?
Broward County,
What state?
Florida.
And in terms of the individual that you've been identifying as Jamel Demmons, do you see him in court today?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
And how do you recognize him?
He's wearing a black jacket, white shirt, sitting next to Mr. Addison.
Okay, your Honor, the record will reflect an in-court identification of the defendant.
Yes, counsel. We'll reflect any further identification of the defendant.
Okay. So I want to go on to the last Instagram message thread that we'll talk about in this case. It's been previously shown to defense counsel as states quintuple S, and a copy provided thereof. Detective Marty, do you recognize states quintuple S?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize that?
Is the Excel spreadsheet I created. I was able to isolate the thread ID and put it into a more readable format, because sometimes it's difficult reading it from the several thousand Facebook, Instagram pages. So I put it into a format on Excel that you could easily read through and see the to and froms.
Okay. Does that fairly and accurately depict the thread ID between an individual identified as PZ_Bambino and the YNW Melly Instagram account?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the thread ID ending in 99651?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it any additions or deletions from the thread ID from the Instagram business records?
No, ma'am.
Now, at this time, the state would request to move states quintuple S in as states 119.
And we approach.
Yes,
Okay, there's a little sidebar. Let's get to it. This is where we're going to find out very important. Here we go.
And Uber Yall back.
I'm going to fast forward now in terms of the timeline and go to October 25th of 2018.
Let's see if this account's still up. PZ Gambino. They said that's who Melly was communicating with. Instagram.com, PZ_Gambino.
Well, you know that motherfucker is long gone. Oh, that bitch still there? Oh, okay. If that nigga got any type of sense, that bitch gone.
I don't think it's this person. No. Yeah, I think that person changed their name. You did. Okay, cool. Let's get back.
Going to specifically 10/25/2018, 14:36. PZ Gambino. You got a old iPhone you don't use. 10/25/2018, 1442. PZ Gambino sends a photograph.
10/25/2018 at 1540, YW Melly. Hell no.
10/25/2018, 1542. PZ Gambino. Damn. All right.
10/25/2018 at 1543, YW Melly. You need one?
10/25/2018, 1543. PZ Gambino. Hell yeah, dog. I need a phone ASAP. Okay.
10/25/2018, 1940, YW Melly. The response is an unidentified emoji.
10/25/2018, 1940. PZ Gambino, YNW Melly. Unidentified emoji. So when it says unidentified emoji, how are you able to translate that or see what those are?
It's usually little tiny like rectangles or little squares that identifies its emoji, but when we try to put it into a Word document or something to translate to see what it is, we can't read it.
Okay. Do some of them translate in a Word document?
Some do, some don't.
Okay. So going to October 26th of 2018, not this specific conversation, but in reviewing the totality of the Instagram messages, are people checking in with the defendants or the YNW Melly account?
Sustained.
Are individuals sending messages to the YNW Melly account?
Yes, ma'am.
In terms of, are there responses to each of those messages from the YNW Melly account?
Sometimes, yes, ma'am.
In terms of images and photographs that were still circulating on social media on October 26th of 2018, were they all fair, accurate, and true statements as to what happened?
Sustained.
In terms of the October 26th, 2018 Facebook messages and social media information about these shootings that had happened?
There was a lot of false images.
Sustained.
Move to strike on curative instruction.
Jury district.
If we could approach?
Sure.
Okay, now here we go.
October 26th, 2018, 1940 UTC. I'm sorry.
No, I know that Melly gotta be smarter than to text a motherfucker and say, I did that on fucking
10/26,
Instagram.
2018.
No, this shit weird. Unless this nigga just that fucking crazy and don't give a fuck that he get caught or whatever. It just
So
don't
we
make no
have
sense.
Melly saying something to somebody who is the recipient of Melly and Wiz the Wiz, I guess Wiz the Wiz. And he says, I did that. I want to catch this from the beginning, so let me play this again. This is really huge. This is how the state is wrapping up their case. They're calling it a admission.
Protect him ready. I want to continue in that same thread with Mr. Gambino, PZ Gambino, that particular message. And I want to go to specifically October 26th, 2018, 1940 UTC. Oh, I'm sorry. Ten 26, 2018. You mentioned you can copy and paste them into Word to as such. On October 26th of 2018 at 20:02:18 UTC, what does the YNW Melly account state?
I did that with a smiley emoji.
In terms of what was that in response to from the PZ Gambino account?
Objection. Overruled.
The PZ Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time, the YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
And could you please stand and point on the right side of the screen exactly which part
What the hell? Oh my God! No way!
This is the text. This is the author.
I ain't gonna lie. By the way, you know we've heard about this stuff before. I keep trying to tell you as we watch this trial because I don't want y'all to be shocked. Think like a juror. Think like a juror. You want to find an answer. This is a whole trial. You need to get an answer. By the way, and I'm not ruling this out, I do think YNW Melly's defense team is going to make something up or be like, hey, when he said I did that, he was talking about he fucked this bitch that everybody wanted to fuck. He finally fucked her. Like, he fucked her the night before. He didn't know all this was happening. He's just telling his mans, yo, I did that. Here we go.
This is the recipient. They come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuation, continuing message. And they come down here to it says text, the SHHHH.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Keep that up, will you please?
Hey, great place for the prosecutor to end.
Oh God,
Basically say
she left out on a strong ass
what
point. The
happened
nigga said I did that, but I don't mean he was talking about that shit.
did it.
They need to get more context before he said that shit. They got all these messages, but ain't got what he said before that.
Deserves to die. They end their case by saying, or maybe not their case, 'cause I don't know if they're bringing somebody else up, but they end this inquiry into this juror, into this witness who is a cop, by saying, what the last thing that Melly said right after that? I did that. Now, really, they would want to say that means a confession. If they say it, it would be objections flying all over the place. So they don't have to say that. They just leave it there on the jury's mind. We rest our case. We're good. We're good. Now you know we're good.
3807, please. 3807, please.
Cross-reference from which exhibit you got these from?
I wish I could. There's 4,000. 9807, please. Without going through all the messages.
Hold on. My bad.
Here, same thing. The ID is for the author.
Did that?
I did that. This is the thread ID. This is the text. This is the author. And this is the recipient. They come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuation, continuing message. And they come down here to it says text, the SHHHH.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Keep that up, will you please?
Of course.
By the way, remember this. YNW Melly will not be the first. And whether he gets freed or he gets incarcerated for a longer period
This shit
of time.
getting scary for Melly.
This device right here has sent more people to jail than all the snitches in the world that they claim is telling on them. They're using what you sent in a Instagram message as a confession. They're using the GPS location as the fact that you were there. They're using the footsteps that you allegedly walked around the car to shoot up the car after people were dead as you staging it. They're using the GPS positioning and the calls that you called you called your girlfriend at the time, and her mom was listening, and you were frantic. You called Fredo Bang. You got in Fredo Bang's car. How do they know it? Because of Apple. Right here, nigga. This is why Melly's in jail. There's not one snitch. There's nothing that says that he would, without the Apple iPhone, he would not be, well, maybe he would get, arrested at a certain point, but this thing had every evidence that they needed.
Shit, crazy.
Lead Detective Murray. You are the lead detective.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, yes.
Well, you just promoted me, so you better apologize to the judge.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I'd like to consider it. I can't see my eyes. Could you point to where I did that? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how do you spell that?
THAT.
Okay.
What the fuck he thought he
Let me
was
show
doing?
you some copies of 9807, please, without going through all the messages. They're all from exhibits that you introduced. May I mark this as a composite exhibit? Please. Do you have any objection?
Counsel, are you offering it?
I'm going to offer it in evidence, yes. As a
Are you
composite
doing it
exhibit.
now?
Huh?
Are you doing it now? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yes.
Can you state any objection?
Starting evidence, if you just would cross-reference from which exhibit you got the news from.
I wish I could. There's 4,000 of them that we took samples.
Excuse me one second. So it's admitted. What's the next exhibit number?
Thanks.
Be pre-marked as offense exhibit D
It's going to be offered in evidence. So
and offered in evidence as defense 4.
in evidence as defense 4.
I'm sorry, defense 2. So
Offense 2, I'm sorry.
pre-marked as defense 2.
And how many pages?
My personal feeling, you need this homie right now. He cool.
Why the fuck he looking so worried?
This guy
Look at this nigga looking, bro. That ain't the face I want to see, and they just said I did that shit, nigga.
right here, when he talks, I like how he talks. Even when he got bullshit, he makes a lot of sense with the bullshit. This guy, he seems already frustrated and frazzled. The jury don't know the jury just wants to be convinced. This guy does a great job of convincing. Even when he dead wrong and the judge about to rule against him, I'm like, man, this nigga making a good point. This guy, don't know. But let's keep it going.
I read down.
Conversation, clerk, do it.
I apologize.
No problem.
I get past, when they mention 70,000, I get confused.
What just happened?
And while he's marking,
I'll fast forward past this a bit. Basically, what's happening is that they're trying to figure out where. So he's about to bring up some old text that the state already submitted, and they're asking him where in the state's submission of these texts are you bringing up, and he basically said, I don't know. They had a lot, which, by the way, I think that shows a little bit lack of preparation on Melly's side. You should have all your ducks in order, but maybe they didn't know that the state was going to end off with this I did it thing, or I did that thing, but they should have imagined that was going to be a big part of it. I did that is like a fucking...
I mean, yeah, they knew they had the shit. They should have been prepared for it.
Melly double murder trial.
Page numbers. Say less.
10/19/2018 at 19.
Okay.
We use.
In terms of other responses to each of those messages from the YNW Melly. 1906 sends a photograph. What? Was Mr. Gambino offering merchandise to be sold to the YNW Melly account?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it real estate?
No, ma'am.
Alright. Hey, chat, I ain't gonna lie. I gotta heat up some oxtail upstairs. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Lunchtime, bitch. I got some oxtail upstairs. I got a nice business spot that just came around my area. So let me go heat that up real quick. It's gonna take like 2 minutes. And also I gotta make sure Big Pluto is, you know what I mean, properly fed and hydrated. You heard me? And then I'll be back in 2 minutes, like literally 2 minutes. I'm literally putting the microwave. I ain't gonna hold you.
Were they physical, tangible items?
Yes, ma'am.
So going forward to the dates and times in question. When you're going through on this, I want to make sure it's clear that this first line corresponds to the page numbers. And where are you getting those page numbers from when you generated this document?
Top right-hand corner of the records provided to us from Facebook.
Okay. And this particular conversation, were you able to go through and isolate all of the information on this thread ID?
Yes, ma'am.
So with your permission, I'm going to go through, if we can just, if it says sender PZ Gambino, I will read it aloud, and if you would respond with whenever the sender is YNW Melly.
Okay.
So first message, 10/19/2018, 1906. Sends a photograph from PZ Gambino.
Then 10/19/2018 at 1907, a message from the account of YNW Melly to PZ Gambino. Tell him 450.
10/19/2018, 1911, PZ Gambino. He say 5.
10/19/2018 at 1911, YNW Melly 475.
10/19/2018, 1929, PZ Gambino. Say less.
10/19/2018 at 1932, YNW Melly 480 at the most. 10/19/2018 at
Whatever it was he was buying, it's crazy for him to say 450 and then go to 475 and then just only $20 under $5. Nigga, you might as well just pay the $500.
1938, YNW Melly. What he said.
All right, we're getting into some other testimony, but in real time, the court is on a morning break. So we want to check in with Law and Crime's Terry Austin. Terry, good morning again. Bring us up to speed on what the jury has heard so far this morning.